Hari Om. We shall chant from verse number 17. Avinashi tu tadviddhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyyasyasya न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अन्तवन्त इमे देहाः नित्यस्योक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारम् यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतः नायं हन्ति न हन्यते न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिद् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे वेदा विनाशिनं नित्यम् य एनमजमव्ययम् कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्तिकम्. So Bhagavan begins his teaching to Arjuna by telling him the nature of the Supreme, that self, our own self. Who am I? That is made more clear in the beginning itself. First he says that it doesn't die. So you are grieving. If you are grieving for this self, then that is not proper, because it never dies. There was never a time when it was not there. It is always there. The self is always present. All these who are assembled here, Bhagavan says they were always there, they are now, and they will always remain. So the body, physical body changes, but that self doesn't change. It is free from birth, free from death, free from all modification, free from all change. It is all pervading, like space. So there are these two entities you have to, in the beginning, we have to understand. First is I, and another is whatever I experience, called the Jagat. So the I, the Atma, and this Jagat, subject and object. Only two things we have to understand first. Then I will add one more thing later on. But ahista. In the elementary school also, ahista. First A for apple only they teach for a week or so. Then they teach B for ball. So, these two entities are there, I and this world. This world, what we see, is constantly changing. The outer world, made up of these 5 elements, changes. The inner world, made up of our senses, our mind, our intellect, our ego, memory, that world also changes. But I, the knower of this world, both the inner as well as outer world, doesn't change. I remain constant. So I am the witness of this world, I am the knower of this world, and I am that consciousness. This world is inert, world keeps on changing. But this, though the world is changing constantly, it is constantly present. Just like my hand, if constantly it is changing, different types of mudras are there, but the hand is present. Similarly, the world is constantly changing, but it is present. So there is something which is there, which is appearing like this world. There is some substratum, some cause which is appearing or constantly being experienced like this world. That is called that Sat Brahma, the reality called Brahma, which is all pervading, and that alone is experience within as I. So what I experience as my own self is that Sat Tattva only, that supreme reality called Brahma, that alone is experience as that self. But at present, the experience of the self is mixed up with the world. When I am trying to experience myself, it gets mixed up with all other things. Just as sometimes we, in our kitchen also, we try to separate certain things, like if you want to cook rice and all, we first try to remove all the other dust particles, stones and all. I don't know nowadays they do or not, but pehle karte the. If the stone is black and all, the fine pebble and all, you can easily recognize and throw it out. But if it is white, then it becomes little more difficult to find out. But some experts, they know and they can throw it. So one can separate them, because there are two things, you have to separate them. Similarly, here also there are two things, the self, the subject, and the object. When it comes to the outer world, it becomes easier to separate. I know that this rock is different from me, this watch is different from me. I can separate them easily. When it comes to the body, it's little more difficult, because body I consider I only. But a little thought and I will know that I am the seer of the body, I am the knower of the body, I am different from the body. Then when it comes to the senses, it's still more subtle. But if little thought, I will be able to comprehend that also, that I am the experiencer behind his eyes, ears, nose, skin. When it comes to the Antakarana, then it is still more difficult, because I experience myself also in the form of thoughts. So thoughts which really belong to the mind is getting mixed up with myself. I experience myself along with thoughts. Just like the space. Space cannot be seen with your eyes. Space, we cannot touch it. Space we cannot smell it. Space is very subtle. But space is experience along with objects. We say, oh, it's nice, spacious hall, we say. So what we are really seeing is the walls. And I say that's the wide space. So directly the space is not seen. But I see the surrounding and I superimpose that idea of that on the space. Similarly, the self is not something which can be seen. What is seen is only the world only, whether inner world or outer world. So there is this mix-up which has taken place. The mind, the intellect, the ego, the memory has got mixed up with my real self. So in the waking state as well as in the dream state, it becomes difficult to separate this self from the world. But Bhagwan, out of his kindness, has given us this experience of deep sleep state. I tell you, it is the best. Only thing, you should have some horses, because घोड़े भेज के सोना चाहिए थे से. Anyway, so when we go to sleep, deep sleep state. Deep sleep means dreamless sleep. And everyone gets it. Dreamless sleep. Because the mind also becomes tired, dreaming, so it goes to sleep. And in that dreamless sleep, we get totally separated from the world, both the outer world as well as the inner world. In dream, we get separated from the outer world. In dream, actually, outside you might be in one state, but you might be dreaming yourself that you are somewhere else. So in dream, we get separated from the physical world. But in deep sleep state, we get separated from the inner world also. So I, who am separate from this inner world as well as outer world, that I is called Atma here. Is the Atma, is myself, is who am I. But because of its association, because it is not recognized, always we know it with association with my mind, intellect, etc. So mind, the quality of the mind, the quality of the intellect gives a personality to that self. It gives a certain characteristic to that self, which doesn't belong to the self. Like our rooms. We say, oh, this is a very good room. So the walls, the painting, the furniture, the various curios and all which people keep, it gives a character to that room. Although if you remove all that thing, it is just space. So the space in one room, the space in another room is same. But that walls and everything, furniture, gives a character to it, which really doesn't belong to that space. But it is as though superimposed on the space. And when we talk about the space, we are talking about actually those furnitures only. Similarly, the characteristic of our mind, our intellect, our memory is superimposed on this self. But Bhagwan here is pointing out, he wants us to pay attention to that self which is devoid of all these furnitures, to that self which is free from all its, they are called upadhis, conditionings, free from all these upadhis. And that self, Bhagwan says, is neither born nor does it die. It doesn't undergo any modification, any change. Whatever modification, change happens, it happens in the outer world only. Because outer world, inner as well as outer world, constantly changes. It never remains stable. It is constantly changing. You have come here, in 1 hour, you will be a different person when you go home. Luckily, certain things are similar, so they recognize. If it is totally everything changes, totally transformed, plastic surgery type, they might not recognize. But it changes. Sometimes there is drastic change also in the inner world. Some people say, oh, वो तो बदल गया है. पहले अच्छा था. अभी पता नहीं क्या हो गया उसे. नहीं? Some experiences, some incidents, some accidents can bring about some drastic changes also within. The mind suddenly changes. What changes? Sometimes our philosophy changes. And suddenly we start seeing and experiencing everything differently. So it is like we have changed all the furniture, brought something new. So the whole room looks different only. But really speaking, the space doesn't change. Space remains same. Yeah. So that space, that self is like space. That self, Bhagavan says, you have to first recognize. And one who recognizes this self, it can be understood, it can be recognized with the help of a pure buddhi. With the help of a pure intellect, we can understand this self. That this self, that is what I am, and that is what my nature is. Though I continue experiencing the world in the same way, but I will understand that I am a different entity altogether. For example, the sun. When we look at the sun, we see it rising, we see it setting. So we experience the earth as stationary, and we see the sun rising, and we see the sun setting. It rises in the east, sets in the west. We can actually experience it. Nobody can deny the experience. But after studying science, after all the experimentations, after what we have heard from the great scientists, we have understood that the sun is stationary and the earth is revolving around it, and it is also rotating around itself. So because of this rotation of the earth, the sun appears to be moving. This we have understood intellectually. We are convinced about it. At least I am convinced. We are convinced about it. But still we see the sun rising. Still we use the term, oh sunrise, sunset. So our eyes continue to experience the world in the same way. But our buddhi tells us the reality is something different. In the same way, our eyes, our senses will continue to experience this world in the same way. We will continue to experience our body, our mind in the same way, but our buddhi, our intellect, which has become very pure and which has taken support of the scriptures, will come to know that I, the real I, is that unborn, indestructible entity. Na jayate, na mriyate. It is possible to realize this. And then Bhagavan says, one who realizes it, one who knows this, such a person is called a self-realized person. Such a person knows that though the body is acting, the mind is acting, lot of things are happening, I, the self, am not the doer. Neva kinchit karomiti yukto manneta tattvavita. Later on Bhagavan will say that the yukta, the realized person, he knows that I don't do anything. I mean that self am not doing anything. Just imagine the space. The space will know that I am not doing anything. All the activities are happening in me, but I am not doing anything. That realization will bring about a tremendous transformation in our life. It will bring about a tremendous change in the way we look at this world, and we will be able to face all the ups and downs in a more equanimous way. So Bhagavan says, one who knows this, he knows what? Ki katham sa purusha parthak kam ghatayati hantikam. He will know that I am neither killing nor being killed. Here he is just taking that as an example. But here it implies, it includes all activities. That I am neither walking nor I am talking. The talking, walking, everything is happening with the body, with my upadhis, with the equipment, not with the self. So action is not being performed by the self. There is no activity happening in the self. All activities are happening in the world, not in the self, outer or inner world. So that a person understands, And one who understands this, he becomes free of all the sorrows and pain and fears which we have cultivated because of misunderstanding. Just like if we misunderstand, let us say we see something moving, shining, white, this, that, and we fear that there is a ghost there, then it creates fear in me, creates problem. But when I understand that, oh, it's not a ghost, it's my brother trying to act smart, so then all fear goes away. From me, it goes to him. So, similarly, knowledge can bring about transformation in our life. Self-knowledge can bring about transformation, amazing transformation in our life. So this self, what happens? Many times people ask, okay, this is understood, I am different from the body, I am different from this world, I am that Atma. But what happens when the body dies? What happens when a person dies? Is it that the Atma also dies? Already it is said Atma doesn't die. So what happens exactly when we so-called die? So that is being now said in the next verse. It's a very famous verse. Let us chant. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihణāti naro parāణī tatha sharirāni vihaya jirnāni anyāni sañyāti navāni dehi vasamsi jirnāni yatha vihaya. Bhagavan says, Vasancha jirnani yatha vihaya. Just as a person in this world, we wear different type of dress, and when the dress becomes old, or when it loses its utility, even for a day or for some occasion, for different occasion, people wear different type of dresses, and there are dress codes also. You have to come in a particular this. You can't just go into some formal party and you're wearing pajama and going there. It will be very odd. And if you want to play cricket and all, you have to wear special dress. You can't wear lungi. So there are these dress codes. So during one day's that whole day's period also, people might change their dress many times. It is not that only when it becomes old or torn or dirty we change our dress, but we change our dress according to the occasion, to suit the occasion. Some people wear the same dress for all occasions. That is a different story. But some people are very particular about the color, about matching, about all this. Everything should match from top to bottom. So they are very particular about not only dress but the ornaments and the makeup and the purse also, I think, and everything, and shoes and everything should match. Otherwise it's odd. So people have, I heard, many pairs of shoes and slippers and purses and lipsticks and all those things. Similarly for men also, I'm not this. Different types of shirts and what you call ties and shoes and all sorts of things. So, according to the occasion, we wear our dress, and when the occasion is over or we have to go to some new occasion, we remove that dress and wear a new one. When I am wearing the dress, I am the same person. When I remove one dress and wear the other dress, I am the same person. I don't change. Sometimes I identify with the dress and try to behave differently, but I, as that person, remains same. Doesn't get doesn't get transformed or modified just by the dress. The dress changes. In the same way, Bhagavan says, Tatha, in the same way, Sharirani, these bodies, the outer gross bodies of all the beings, they keep changing just like dress. We change our body like our dress. See, the inner body, our Sukshma Sharir, we don't change. We have our inner clothes and also we remove the outer one and wear the another pair. But the inner remains same. Similarly, the inner cloth of this Atma, what we call the Sukshma Sharir, that we don't change. That doesn't get changed when a person dies. When a person dies, only the physical body is left behind. The physical body, made up of the 5 elements, it is left behind. In the Upanishad, they describe the sequence of death also, a natural death, that slowly the organs of action gets withdrawn, speech and all gets withdrawn. Then the senses also get withdrawn. The mind also gets, Antakarana also gets withdrawn into the pranas. And the pranas get withdrawn into the Ushnata, heat. They say, the scriptures say that it gets withdrawn into heat. And heat becomes the body of that jiva then. The Sukshma Sharir, everything is there and surrounded by some heat of the body, that Agni Tattva. And then it leaves this body, the physical body. Therefore, finally the body also becomes cold. So when we leave this body, only the physical body is left behind. The mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, indriyas, prana, everything we take. It's just the outer shell which is left behind. One person, he died and some extra smart person came. He said, you don't cry. You should not cry for his death because this is only a shell. The nut has gone. Nut is still there somewhere. So, we only leave the shell behind. The nut remains. So the inner body, our mind, the intellect remains. And my mind is different from your mind. Just like my physical body is different from your physical body, my mind is different from your mind. My intellect is different from your intellect. My ego is different from your ego. These are all Sukshma Sharir, a covering, subtle covering, the inner world, a subtle covering around myself. That doesn't die. That is there with us from time, beginningless time. The scriptures say that it is there with us from beginningless time. Our mind, it keeps on changing. It keeps on adding new samskars into it. And the samskars of our past lives and all remain in our antakarana only at a very subtle level. So all that we have experienced in so many lifetimes is also there as samskar within our antakarana. But only the one which is fructified or one which is useful, that alone remains active during our lifetime. It's called our prarabdha karma. The prarabdha karma remains active, sanchita karma remains dormant, And while we are experiencing and you living the prarabdha karma, we are also performing some actions which gives result in future. They are called agami karma. So agami karma also we generate and we live in this world. Once the utility of this body, which we ourselves might not know, which also depends on our karma. We might not know, we don't know, but it depends on our karma. So when the utility of this body is over, the Sukshma Sharir drops this body. We leave this body. Some may say, oh, he's so young and all. So whether he's young or old or tone or proper or whatever, sick or healthy, doesn't matter. All these things doesn't matter. What matters is karma. It is not a thing that only when we become sick we die, or only old people die, or young people don't die. Nothing like that. It doesn't matter. The death doesn't depend on young or old, rich or poor, healthy or unhealthy, taking diet food or eating all sorts of garbage. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter doesn't mean that we should do. But really speaking, it depends on our karma. So if the karma is that I have to live for a long time, I live. But I don't know how long and all, but according to the karma, I live. Nobody can do anything because karma keeps the body intact. So we leave this body when the utility of that body is over for me. So it's automatic, just like a person goes to sleep. It is just a natural process. Sleeping is a natural process. You don't have to do any effort. In fact, lesser the effort, faster you go to sleep. Yeah? During pravachan and all, no, really, actually, sometimes it's, I know that all of you are awake, but at times it happens like that one tends to sleep. So it's easier, it's just a natural process. In sleep, what happens? We withdraw from the physical world, in dream and all. But in deep sleep state, we withdraw from the Sukshma Sharir also. We withdraw. But in case of death, we don't withdraw from the Sukshma Sharir. We carry the Sukshma Sharir with us. So deep sleep state and death is a different experience altogether. In deep sleep state, we get separated from all these our bodies. But in case of death, we are still carrying our Sukshma Sharir, identified with it, we carry it with us. And the scripture says, as per our karma and as per our conviction, we get the next Sharir. Yatha karma yatha shrutam. It's said in Kathopanishad. Yatha karma yatha shrutam. So like that, this Atma, which is free from all this, but now it is identified. It is holding on to this as my body, my body. It's like space. Space is not connected to this wall. Space is not connected to this room. But somehow space, if it thinks that I am this wall and I am this room and all, it tries to take in all the characteristic of this room also. Yeah? Some places remain, like some buildings and all, they exist for a long time. Many of the walls they change, many of the colors they change, but that building exists like that only. It has got its own personality which remains for a long time. Similarly, when we are alive in this body, we take in the personality of this body, but we also take in the personality of the inner body. Outer body is left when we die, but the inner body remains same. And through the process which the scriptures describe, we again enter we take in as though another body. we enter our parents' body and take in the other body. So this goes on and on and on till we come to recognize ourselves. That's called moksha. Moksha is to know myself as I am. Then what happens? The gross body also is dismantled, disintegrated, and the subtle body also gets disintegrated. For a realized person, the inner body also gets disintegrated. Therefore, there is no more birth, no more getting confined within a limited body. Then that person, realized person, knows that I am everything. It's like the space which comes to know that I am everywhere. I am the same space in all the rooms. In fact, the entire world is in me. All the moon and the stars and all the galaxies are in me. Like that, the space understands. But at present, the space is confined to only one room. And it is only bathroom, then it's stuck in that for a long, long time to come. Yeah? So similarly, each one of us, we are stuck within our Sukshma Sharir. Sthul Sharir, only during this lifetime. But for us, in the Sukshma Sharir, we are stuck for a long time. We are carrying the same mind. Therefore, wherever we go, we can't leave our mind behind. Eh? Though people sometimes say you are totally mindless, but that is not true. I carry my mind everywhere. Therefore, people try to run away. Ye bahut pareshani hai, let me run away. And there they find that the same pareshani is there because the mind is same. And the pareshani was actually not outside but in the mind only. So this is the self which only wears this dress of the gross body and the subtle body. And when, just like we change our dress during the day or during our living here in this world, in the same way, person, this Atma, changes the dress. So, tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani, when it becomes jirna, it becomes old or becomes loses its utility. Anyani sanyati navani dehi, then we wear a new dress. The new dress need not be a human dress. The Atma is such, the Sukshma Sharir is such that it can occupy any dress. It can occupy animal, bird, plant, any dress. Just imagine a pot with water inside and space. Atma is like space. The inner, our body, what you call the Sukshma Sharir, is like that water. And the pot is like the gross body. So that water we can pour in from one pot to another pot. Sometimes big pot, small pot. Of course the water remains same, but here Sukshma Sharir takes the size of that body. Huge elephant dies to become a small cheetah. पूरा सूक्ष्म शरीर उसमें समा जाता है, फिट हो जाता है फर्स्ट क्लास. नहीं मैं मोटा हूँ, मुझे बड़ा शरीर चाहिए. नीड नॉट बी. A fat solid person can get a thin little sharir also. And when we are born, we get a small body only. In the mother's womb, our body is so tiny little, and it grows with a beautiful form, and it's born and keeps growing. So with the growth of the body, I don't feel जैसे वो नारियल सूखने से कड़कड़ होता है ना, like that I don't feel that अरे थोड़ा space ज़्यादा हो गया, body बढ़ गई है. ऐसा नहीं. I feel that I am occupying it fully to the finest cell. I am occupying the body. I don't feel that यहाँ empty space है, वहाँ पर मैं नहीं हूँ. ऐसा नहीं, सब जगह हूँ. So this Sukshma Sharir, it occupies the body as it is. All this is said in our scriptures because there are about life, about world, we can understand through our senses. But about life and about death, we cannot understand through our senses. We have to take support of the scriptures. But whatever the scripture says, we can understand it logically also, with the help of certain examples. So what is this self which has got this body, which even when it dies, this body dies, the self doesn't die? What is this self? Why it is called it is indestructible? So that is what now Bhagavan says in the next verse. Nainam chindanti shastrani Nainam dahati pavakaha Na chainam kledayantyapah Na shoshayati marutah Nainam chindanti shastra Nainam dahati pavakaha. Na enam chindanti shastrani enam atmanam. This atma, that is I. See in this, there is I here, there is I there. Every one of us, we experience that I. At present, since we are experiencing it along with the mind, and mind is different, we feel we are different. So let us just now take it at that level. So each one of us, we are experiencing this self along with our mind. But the self by itself is different from the mind. And that self is indestructible. One may say, no, we have such powerful, what you call weapons, we have powerful all sorts of, even nuclear bombs and all are there. We can destroy this self. He says, no. Na enam chindanti shastrani. Weapons cannot cut it. Weapons can cut, which is solid outside. It can cut my body. But that Atma cannot be cut by weapon. These weapons cannot touch it. In fact, those weapons don't touch our mind also. Mind can also not be cut with the gross physical weapons. We can influence the mind of other person by our speech, by our action, but we cannot cut that mind with the weapon. But this Atma is subtler than mind also. Mind at least can be influenced, mind can be changed, mind can be transformed. But Atma cannot be transformed, changed, cut. It doesn't have any parts to cut it. So, Nainam chindanti shastrani. Okay, we cannot cut it, but at least we can burn it. Because this fire is so powerful, it can burn everything. He says it cannot burn that Atma. Body is burnt. Atma is not burnt. Atma cannot be burnt. Atma means you. Atma means I. Cannot be burnt. So it's such a wonderful thing. So na enam dahati pavakaha. Na cha enam kledayanti apaha. And also water cannot wet it. You cannot just soak it into water, this Atma. Water can soak things which are porous and all a physical thing. But Atma is not physical. It cannot be soaked in water. One cannot get drowned. That Atma cannot get drowned in water. Even if the body goes into the ocean, the Atma doesn't get drowned. Atma doesn't get. Na shoshayati marutaha. Also the marut, the wind cannot dry this Atma. Things which are there, we wash our clothes, we dry it in the wind. But this wind cannot dry this Atma. So it is untouched by all these powerful natural phenomena also, and great powerful weapons also cannot touch that Atma. See, even when I go to sleep, my dream, with our physical body or with a physical object, we cannot enter the dream. We cannot enter anybody's dream. No physical thing can enter. Therefore, it is said that we can imprison a person, his body, but you cannot imprison the person's mind. Mind is very active. In fact, they are more active than they plan. Then a criminal, if he is put in jail, then he thinks, okay, next time how I should commit a crime so that I don't get caught. And he gets teaching from others who are experts there. अच्छा ऐसा करने से नहीं होता, हाँ ऐसा नहीं होता, ऐसा कर लो आपने अगली बार. So अगली बार does it again gets caught. So the mind is all the time active. We cannot imprison the mind. It's all this. But this Atma is subtler than this mind. It cannot be destroyed by any of these weapons. So this, just imagine. Imagine that now you are just listening about it. Imagine that we understand it and intellectually get convinced about it. Just like we are convinced about the sun, that it doesn't rise or set. It is the earth which is moving, rotating. Similarly, when we get convinced about that I, Atma means I am deathless, I am birthless, I am free from all transformation, I am free from all modification, nothing can destroy me. Such a person instantly will become fearless. All this fear is there because I am attached to my body, and I think with the death of my body, I will die. So that fear will disappear. So why is it said that Atma cannot be cut? It said in the next verse, Bhagavan says, Achedyo yamadayyoyam akledyo shoshya evacha nityash sarvagatasthānuhu achaloyam sanatanaha अच्छेद्यो यमदाह्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च अचलोऽयं सनातनः. Because Atma cannot be cut, it is achedya, it is uncuttable. Or because it is uncuttable, it cannot be cut. Atma is not a physical object. Atma is not anything like any of this. All that we experience in this world is not Atma. Atma is experiencing it. See, many people have this funny idea about it. Atma word has become very popular. Everyone uses it. And it is used for everything, including ghost. Uski Atma bhatakti hai. In my childhood, I remember we used to have this all upanyas and all. Bhayanak upanyas. Latakti Atma, bhatakti Atma. I remember my sister or someone reading and getting frightened. What are you, bhatakti Atma I am reading? Why you want to read that? No, it's quite interesting, but I am getting scared. So, घोस्ट को भी आत्मा बोलते हैं हम लोग, बहुत कुछ सबको आत्मा बोलते हैं. Atma is like space. It's all pervading, but because of our identification, we feel it is confined. So now at present we feel it is confined to my Sukshma Sharir, and I feel it's confined to the physical body. Even when I drop this body, I continue to experience the Atma confined to my Sukshma Sharir. So even when a person dies, he continues to feel limited, will not feel unlimited. Oh, I have become like space. Will continue to experience himself as limited by the Sukshma Sharir. So this Sukshma Sharir doesn't die. The mind, the intellect and all doesn't die. So along with this mind, intellect and the pranas, we occupy another body, fresh body. Then slowly that body grows. So this Atma is achedyaha, it is indestructible. I am adahyaha, it is unburnable. I don't know whether that is an English word. It cannot be burnt. Akledyaha, it cannot be soaked or wetted or soaked. It cannot become wet. Ashoshya, it cannot be dried. You cannot have dried Atma. You cannot have this, just like we have this dried milk and all. No? We cannot have dried Atma. We can have dried body. When a person dies, the body is burnt and then it is taken in the small container, all the ashes. But Atma nahi hai usme. Atma to sab jagah hai. But Atma is that Atma which died is no longer occupying this body, is no longer attached to this body. It has just dropped, just like we remove our dress and leave it. Later on we don't want to wear that same dress. Sab pasina, ye, wo. Though I am wearing it, when I am wearing it, I am comfortable with the pasina many times. But once I remove it and somebody says, oh, chalo, wear the same, we don't feel like. Similarly, once we leave this body, it is said, sometimes one may see that our own body lying there, because Sukshma Sharir is there, our eyes are there, our mind is there. So one can experience, maybe, I don't remember, but one can see one's body. And one may not feel like entering. क्या करना है, चलो नया बॉडी लेते हैं. इसमें डायबिटीज है, दूसरा अच्छा ले लेते हैं. So it's very nice, interesting actually, fun, because we have died many times. Means we have left this physical body hundreds of times and taken up new body. So it is not a new experience. So it is ashoshya, it cannot be dried. Therefore, this Atma is nitya. Nityaha. Nitya means eternal. Eternal is a big word. Eternal means it is always present. It was always there, it is now, and it will always be there. I will always be there. Just imagine all of us as the Atma, we are always there. Our mind will change, our body will change, our thoughts will change, our philosophies will change, our ideas will change, our religions might change, our nationality will change, our whole earth will change, the cosmos may change, but I will remain all the time. Nitya, that's called Nitya. It's Nitya. And that Nityata we experience also. See, when you are in deep sleep state, you are experiencing your Atma as you are. You are experiencing yourself as you are. Therefore, it will be very nice. It is a good exercise all the time to contemplate on myself as I was in deep sleep state. In that state, I was totally free of time. There was no concept of time. This time and all is experienced only when the mind is functioning. Space is experienced only when the mind is functioning. There was no concept of time and space. There was no this body or mind, nothing was there. So there was no limitation of any kind. Only my presence was there. I am only existing as a presence. The same I which was there in deep sleep is even now. So the whole spiritual practice is to recognize that I in the waking state. उसको खोजो, उसकी तलाश करो. Even when we are along with our physical and the Sukshma Sharir, we have to recognize ourselves. See, for example, we see the cinema. Before the cinema begins, there is only a screen, wide screen. Then slowly the advertisements start coming. No smoking, switch off your mobile, and all those things. Then the advertisement of other movies and this and that. Yeah? In those good old days, they used to show little news also. कि वहाँ पर बाढ़ आ गई है, you know. So before seeing one comedy movie also, you have to see all this thing, news. Then little bit trailer of some movie. Then little bit advertisement कि मूंगफली बाहर available है, गरम गरम. अच्छा, then the movie begins. Now, when the movie begins, you get so absorbed with it that you are not aware of the screen which is behind. The white screen is not experienced as it is when we are totally absorbed in that movie. And especially if the colors and the thing are such, then that white screen is not noticeable. But wherever there is this white color, hero is wearing white shirt and all, then you can slightly imagine and see the screen behind. But the screen is always present. But when during interval and all, you can see it very clearly. Similarly, the self is like the screen. Interval is like our deep sleep state. It is there, free from all distraction. But in the waking and dream, all these movies are going on. And we are so absorbed with it that we don't notice the screen. But the spiritual sadhana is to notice that screen even when we are awake and recognize it as our self. We are not the movie, we are the screen. The movie is the Jagat, screen is that Atma. Recognize yourself as the screen, not the movie. But movie is more interesting. But it has got its own ups and downs. So all the ups and downs are there because of this movie of the Jagat. In that Atma, there is no ups and downs. So recognizing that Atma, enjoy the movie. Recognizing the Atma, enjoy the fun. The whole world is just for fun then. Everything is a great celebration. Life is celebration, death is celebration. Everything will become celebration if I recognize my nature and then look at it. So therefore he says, Nityaha, this Atma is Nityaha. Sarvagataha, Atma is Sarvagata. Sarvagata, all pervading. I feel myself confined here because of the identification with these upadhis. But without that, I am all pervading. Just as in deep sleep state, there is no limitation of any kind, I am all pervading. The self in you and the self in me is same. Now we are experiencing difference because of the upadhis. See, when during the day whatever you experience, I don't experience it. I have to ask you, what did you eat? Where did you go? Then when you tell me, I understand. Because your experience is different from my experience. Though the Atma is same, your body is different, my body is different. Your mind is different, my mind is different. When you are dreaming, I have to ask, what dream you had? Though the Atma is same, I don't know your dream. But when you go to deep sleep state, I don't have to ask. I know your deep sleep state, my deep sleep state is one. If you go to some theater, if you see a movie, you have to ask, which movie you saw and all. But if you say, I went and saw the screen, you don't have to ask more. Screen dekh liya, haan, theek hai. Because screens everywhere same. Similarly, the Atma in all is same, not similar. It is same. It is one. It is all pervading. So Sarvagataha, it's that Atma is Sarvagataha. Sthanuhu, it is fixed. Fixed means its nature doesn't change. The nature of the objects of this world changes. The nature of the mind also changes. Nature of the mind means the thoughts and emotions and everything changes. And we superimpose the nature of this mind on that person. We say, oh, that person has changed. But the nature of that Atma doesn't change. It is Sat Chit Ananda Swarup. It was Satchid Anand before. It is Satchid Ananda now. It will remain Satchidananda later. It is Satchidanand for me, for you, for everyone. The nature of the Atma doesn't change. Therefore, it is called Sthanuhu, fixed. Achalaha, unmoving. Same meaning. Achalaha, unmoving. Sanatanaha, eternal. See, though this thing was said before also, Ajo nityashashvato yam puranaha nahanyate hanyamane sharire. So Shankaracharya ji writes that though it is a repetition, some of the points, he says, because this Atma is so subtle that Bhagavan wants to convey the same thing in different words so that we understand. By some way or other, we understand it and become free of our problems, become free of our bondage. This Atma Jnana is one of the most fascinating, and everyone has got this ability to do it, to gain it. Only thing, we should get that inspiration. Now I am trying to inspire you, but we should get that self-inspired. Then there is more fun. जैसे गाड़ी बंद होती है तो उसे बाहर से धक्का मारते हैं, नहीं? But afterward the गाड़ी should start. Not that you should just put it in neutral and just relax. हाँ मारो जोर से, हाँ नहीं. Should try to start. कहीं कहीं गाड़ी जो दकल what you call that, धक्के से start हो जाती है, नहीं? I remember I used to have this scooter also, धक्का मार के start हो जाता था कहीं कहीं. So you have to hold it and keep running and change it in gear and sit. And sometimes and starts. You must have experienced it, I don't know, but I have. It's quite interesting, thrilling experience. So वैसे ही spirituality also, the teacher's job is to धक्का मारो. But the student job is to start करो. Don't sit back, relax. Petrol बच जाएगा. No such ideas one should have. So, nityash sarvagatasthānuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. This Atma is sanatanaha, eternal. So, more about this Atma, Bhagavan says in the next verse. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmad evam viditvaenam nanushochitum arhasi. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmad evam viditvaenam nanushochitum arhasi. Bhagavan says this Atma is avyaktaha. Avyaktaha means it is not manifest. Means it cannot be seen through our senses. See, all that is manifest, which is present in some form or some color, we can experience through our senses. If an object has got sound, taste, touch, form, color, etc., we can experience through our senses. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, we can experience through our senses. But this Atma doesn't have any shape, any size, any color, any form. Nothing like that. All this is misunderstanding about the Atma which people have. Some light. Sometimes they show such things in our movies also. A person dies and some light goes out and all. And especially in our all this, what you call this, Pauranic things, mythological thing, you will find all this. The ज्योति जाके उसमें समा जाती है वगैरह. So it looks nice, but Atma is not a jyoti. Atma is not of some color. It is not some sound. It is not a taste. It has got no form. It is totally devoid of all this. Body has got form. Even our subtle body is subtle. It is also made up of matter only, subtle matter. But Atma doesn't have any form. So it is avyaktaha. It is beyond, it is not vyakta. It is unmanifest. Therefore, it is achintyaha. Therefore, it is beyond our thinking also. Means we cannot think. Only those things which we have experienced through our senses, we can think about it. But Atma is not within the scope of our thinking. It cannot be grasped by the mind or the intellect, nor by any of the senses. See, we can experience, like when I am in deep sleep state, my senses cannot enter there. My mind cannot enter there. But I know I am present. When I wake up, I say I was there. But मैं कौन हूँ, कैसा था, क्या कर रहा था, कुछ, nothing I can tell. Because the mind, the intellect, nothing can touch it. They remain outside. So they cannot talk about it. So, avyaktaha, achintyaha, ayam avikaryaha, and Atma is free from all vikar, free from all modification. See, what is modification? Like a milk gets converted into curd. It's called modification. It changes its nature. But that Atma, as said before, it doesn't change nature, it doesn't modify. There is no change, no movement happening in it. It is pure existence, consciousness, bliss. There is no movement, there is no modification, there is no ups and downs, there is no becoming big or small, there is no going here and there, there is no transforming into time, space, nothing. It remains as it is. Its nature doesn't change. That is how it is. In its presence, the whole world dances and jumps. Just like the screen remains same, and in the presence of the screen, millions of types of movies happen. But the screen remains same. Even after the whole movie has happened and gone, you go and check the screen has not changed. Whether you show good movie or bad movie, the screen remains same. Whether you show water in the movie or fire in the movie, the screen remains same. It doesn't get wet, it doesn't get burnt. In the same way, this world is like a movie, and that Atma is like the screen. Our body is like the movie, the mind is like the movie, Atma is like the screen. Recognize your Atma and then enjoy this movie. If we don't recognize, then we become part of the movie and become miserable. That is called samsara. Samsara means getting identified with this movie and feeling miserable with because our mind tends to imagine more and more misery only. It is easier for the mind to fall down than to rise up. From sattva gun, it comes down to rajogun, it comes down to tamogun. It is easier. This we experience even in our study groups and all. People start with discussion on Bhagavad Gita and all. Then slowly they come to politics. Then they go to even lower than that. I don't know what is lower than that. But keeps on going lower and lower. वो नेचुरल है. During the day also, in the early morning, we are fresh, sattvic, then we become rajasic, then we become tamasic. So it is natural for the mind to come down. So we have to put forth special effort to recognize our own self. So avyaktaha, achintyaha, avikaryaha. So it is free from all modification, all changes. Avikaryo ayam uchyate. Tasmad. Therefore, Bhagavan says, evam viditva, having understood this. Having understood how? Just like with the help of our intellect, we understand something which is different from what our perception tells us. I perceive, again that example of the sun rising and setting. I perceive the sun rising and setting, but the intellect tells me that it doesn't rise and set. Similarly, I perceive the body changing, I perceive the world changing, I perceive the mind modifying, but I understand through the help of the same mind, through the help of the same intellect, that I am free from all change, that I am free from birth as well as death. That's called self-knowledge, which happens with the help of the intellect. That more detail we will come to know. A lot of questions might arise in your mind, but as we study, all these questions will get answered, because it's a complete thing. Whatever questions may arise here, Bhagavan answers them. But now here he is focusing only on revealing the nature of the self. Then the question regarding the world and how, from where it has come, what is the relation, this, that, all sorts of things will be answered as we go along. So Bhagavan says, having one who recognizes this self, tasmad evam viditva, having understood, having recognized, having realized this self, na anushochitum arhasi, one, there is no need to grieve. One should not grieve. Having realized this self, then you will not grieve. Hey Arjuna, even if you intellectually appreciate it, you will become free of grief. Like little children, sometimes some, our friends or some guest comes, stays at our home, children get attached to them, and when they leave, the guests leave, the children start crying, weeping, howling and all. They say, "Nay, auntie, you don't go, you be here." And मम्मी से जाने दो, आंटी को बड़े परेशान करके रखा है, सब बाथरूम गंदा करके रखती है. But then the child is crying. But do समझाओ, you tell that child, नहीं आंटी तो है, वहाँ पर है, हम बात करेंगे उनसे, फ़ोन से बात करेंगे, वो आएगी, अगले साल आ जाएगी. And all sorts of things we tell the child. We are not grieving, we know. But the child feels the auntie is gone, means gone forever. So we say she is there present. Similarly, we say that even when a person dies, he is present in some form or other. You continue doing the shraddha and all. So you are in contact with that person is also there. But even higher understanding of that is that I never die. I am always present. There is no death for me. When I understand it deeply, I become free of all fears and all sorrow. So Bhagavan says, having understood this, don't grieve. You are grieving for Bhishma, Pitamaha, Dronacharya, for all these people. Ultimately they will die. Even if you don't fight this war, they will die. Nobody remains permanent in this world. But only the body dies. So don't grieve. So na anushochitum arhasi. More we'll see tomorrow. Now we'll just sit silently for some time. Close your eyes. And feel your own presence, which is different from your body, physical body and different from your mind. Try to feel, try to experience your own being different from your mind. Which had got separated in deep sleep state, which becomes separated in deep sleep, which is even present now, different from our mind, different from our body, which is our own self, which is experienced as I am. Try to experience your own being, free from all thoughts. Don't try to see it, just be it. Be yourself. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.